Good day, this is WesternPacificWeather.com's fourth video update for Typhoon Ma-On. Also included here is update on the newly formed tropical depression Tokage east of the Philippines. It is the 15th of July 2011, 4 p.m. Philippine time, 5 p.m. Japan time, or 8 Zulu for those of you watching elsewhere. Every Typhoon Ma-On now moving away from the northern Mariana Islands. It was last located 830 kilometers north-northwest of Guam. Maximum sustained winds of 215 kilometers per hour, gusting to 260 kilometers per hour. Ma-On is now a Category 4 typhoon in the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. Ma-On is moving west-northwestward at 20 kilometers per hour. As of this time, the National Weather Service in Guam has dropped the tropical storm warning for the islands of Bagan, Aguian, and Alamagan that was posted about yesterday when Ma-On approached the northern side of the region, although high surf advisory is still in effect for the islands there, and rough seas will likely persist throughout the weekend, so definitely discouraging any sort of marine activity there. Always watch for those large swells that is being brought by Ma-On towards those islands, although it is moving away, so definitely expecting clear weather for the islands in the next few days or so. And you can see this visible satellite image that the eye here has become cloud filled. You can still see very large in terms of diameter and outflow channels, looking better. And I touched on this on our last update. I said that sort of a pulsating activity with times of weakening and re-strengthening based on the IR and other satellite image. And right now it does look like it is undergoing that sort of weakening, not really weakening, but just having to deal with disruptions caused by number of factors. And you can see in this 37 gigahertz image taken about 4 hours ago actually, but this is the latest one, the Naval Research Lab page. You can see this irregularly shaped eye and the bulk of the activity remaining south of the center. Also you can see here in this 87 gigahertz in the upper levels of the storm, with the northern half is being disrupted, and you don't see that symmetrical shape and the perfect shaped ring, which indicates strong and intensification process. But right now it's largely irregularly shaped, and again that northern half remaining devoid of any activity. And this is the latest IR just about an hour ago, and you can also see here cooling cloud tops again, definitely sign of the storm still sorting out its development and structure. And you can see an eye trying to reform again on the infrared, and again that outflow channel trying to develop, and the eastern half is actually much worse compared to 1 to 2 days ago, and the northern half just struggling right now. This is primarily because of dry air and subsidence or sinking air north of the system. You can see this water vapor image, and also some dry air west of the storm, and it had some dry air in training about 12 hours ago, and also still battling that unfavorable conditions right now, although in general, I mean, the storm is in an excellent position to continue intensifying. And here in the total precipitable water, dry air, it looks to be moving out as Ma-On becomes larger and larger as it continues to intensify. Although you can still see that sort of a drier air, relatively drier air, moving towards the center. If it can block that, if it can keep that intensification, would very well see a strong Category 4 typhoon, perhaps Cat 5. And yes, I said before, the bulk of activity is still in the southern half, which sustains the intensification rate of the system, albeit at a slower pace. I mean, if you look at this storm 2 or 3 days ago, you expect this to have had rapid intensification by now, though we haven't seen it yet. In terms of very explosive activity. we do expect that. I mean, the environment here still in a largely favorable environment with 10 to 20 knots wind shear, and also the high sea surface temperature at 32 degrees Celsius, 30 to 32, so very, very conducive for tropical cyclone development. Although once when you look at this from underground sea surface temperature map, although once it reaches the latitude of, let's say, Okinawa, here you can see that the sea temperatures are gradually cooling off towards mainland Japan, although it can still sustain as high as Cat 4 in this map. You can also see here, yeah, this one, you can also see it can still sustain up to Category 4 typhoon before landfall. So yeah, although we do expect a slight weakening once it reaches the Ryukyus and before making landfall, perhaps a Cat 3 or a low-end Cat 4 there. As for the track, well, we're still watching this subtropical ridge south of the mainland Japan, affecting and steering Ma-On towards west, generally west, although right now moving west-northwestward now. And then yeah, we do expect this to slightly weaken, reorient itself towards the southeast a little bit, allowing Ma-On to turn poleward. Again, that is the critical part of the forecast, when will Ma-On turn to the north. But the computer models are still having the slight shifts run by run. You can expect that with these computer models. And right now, CMC being the eastern outlier, the UK Met, which is not plotted here in this graph, it remains the westernmost outlier, showing it tracking towards Okinawa and hitting the islands by Monday. It's also showing a weaker storm, as the UK Met actually we think is overdoing what is called the direct cyclone interaction with the newly formed tropical depression Tokage east of the Philippines. Meanwhile, the ECMWF, or the Euromodel, sort of in between, or a middle track, taking aim towards looks to be Shikoku by Tuesday morning Japan time, and Euromodel expecting a peak intensity sorry, of around 220 kilometers per hour, Cat 4 typhoon, well east of Okinawa by Monday. And it does show slight weakening, only slight weakening. You still see in this graph very intense and very large typhoon once it makes landfall in mainland Japan. And you can also see in this graph Euro expecting that typhoon to induce the southwest monsoon and again begin affecting the Philippines and Taiwan by the middle of next week. So again, Philippines may not receive the direct brunt of Ma-On, although yeah, they're gonna be facing heavy rains again, especially western Luzon. As for the weather agencies, here we have JTWC again showing that Shikoku landfall by Wednesday morning Japan time, and they are slightly west of the consensus, and the forecast warnings expecting a lower peak intensity down to about 125 knots now, although expecting a higher landfall intensity of around 100 to 110 knots, making landfall here in Shikoku. And also you can see in this closest point of approach to Kadena Air Force Base here, around 247 nautical miles east of the island, so far away, although yeah, definitely as the wind field gets larger, and definitely expecting still some strong winds and waves as well, and also heavy rain affecting the islands as early as Monday. Here we have JMA. JMA showing actually shifted east now, forecasting Ma-On to just skirt the southern half of Honshu and move towards Kanto Plain by late Wednesday Japan time here, and again showing that recurvature, although indicating a sharper turn to the northeast around that subtropical ridge here. As for our forecast here in Western Pacific weather, mainly just towards Japan, and forecasting a landfall in Shikoku by Wednesday morning. This is Philippine time. Just add 1 hour for those of you in Japan. Because also showing here forecast cone, we're still including Okinawa, because again the critical part of the forecast is when will Ma-On turn to the north. If it does turn north early, and then it will might brush the Honshu region. If it turns northward later, could pose a very big threat to Okinawa, so definitely have to monitor that for the next 2 days. We're moving on. Well, anyway, you can also see this forecast, the plotting of tropical depression Tokage, and that's where we will go now. Was last located 860 kilometers east of Virac, Catanduanes, with maximum sustained winds of 55 kph gusting to 75 kph. Tokage is almost stationary, remaining there in the Philippine Sea for about a few days now, actually. JMA is the first one to upgrade this and is now a tropical storm, according to JMA. JDWC, on the other hand, has upgraded to tropical depression. It's not on the JDWC website yet as of this posting time, although based on the rock warnings and the Naval Research Lab website, we do expect JDWC to update this on their 9 Zulu update in about an hour or so from now. And yeah, an ASCAT pass earlier revealing this this closed circulation and southerly westerly winds south of the center of 35 to 40 knots, which I think prompted the agencies to upgrade this to a tropical disturbance or storm. Pagasa, on the other hand, is still not upgrading this to a depression, although will probably do it on their 5 p.m. update. And if they do, they will assign the local name Hana to Tokage. Also see in this IR image, well, going back to the visual for a minute, and see this exposed low-level circulation center and the IR convection being sheared to the west because of shear around this region have increased dramatically over the past 24 hours because of the approaching Typhoon Ma-On. You also see in this a great shot of the IR, both showing the storms Ma-On and Tokage, and also see the convection being sheared largely to the west, although you can still see some cold cloud tops near the center, so there's still some activity, not wanting to die off just yet. Also see in this latest microwave image that low-level circulation and activity that's shown by the dark blue, and here in the convective activity remaining partly on the western half of the storm. Forecast for Tokage will we do expect Tokage to be absorbed or become part of Ma-On's large circulation within the next 24 to 36 hours, or it could just dissipate altogether because of the unfavorable upper level environment. You could just see the convection be sheared away and the low level circulation to completely dissipate. Although looks like with this is a great vis shot, and see the proximity towards each other. You could see definitely Tokage being absorbed by that inflow from Ma-On. As you can see here, with this close of a proximity, however, Tokage being a very weak tropical depression or a tropical storm, don't expect that much of a big direct cyclone interaction, which the UK Met has been showing. Although we still expect some slight influence, and definitely pulling Ma-On westward instead of making it turn northwestward. Although, yeah, that is a very small chance of seeing Ma-On to completely move southwestward and then turn to the north. Again, as I said, always listen to your official weather agencies, JMA and Pagasa, as Ma-On will enter the Philippine area of responsibility within the next 24 hours or so. Also, westernpacificweather.com and storm2k.org for meteorological discussions. This is our last